Can a relationship survive when one of you wakes up in Africa and the other sleeps in Europe? This isn't just about distance. It's about faith, temptation, and trusting God when love feels far away. Alma stood at the airport long after the final boarding call had faded, watching people reunite while her own heart learned what separation truly felt like. Daniel was already on the plane, somewhere above the clouds, heading to London, while she remained in Accra with prayers in her chest and tears she refused to release in public. They had fasted before this day. They had sought counsel. They had prayed until words failed. Still, nothing prepared her for the silence that followed his departure. Distance, she discovered, does not announce itself loudly. It settles quietly and tests everything you believe. Their love had once been measured in shared walks after church and laughter during evening devotions. Now it was measured in time zones and missed calls. When Alma woke before dawn to pray, Daniel was stepping into a crowded train, wrapped in a foreign cold. When he longed for rest, she was preparing for another long day surrounded by familiar faces that suddenly felt incomplete. They spoke often but never enough. Video calls froze. Voices cracked. Sometimes the connection failed completely, and all they could do was whisper prayers on opposite sides of the world, trusting God to carry the words where Wi-Fi could not. Family voices grew louder as the months passed. Alma heard questions that carried doubt disguised as concern. How long would she wait? What if he changed? What if distance became an excuse? In London, Daniel faced different pressures, opportunity knocking loudly, loneliness knocking softly, temptation arriving without warning. The enemy did not come openly. He came subtly, suggesting independence without accountability, freedom without faith. There were nights Alma lay awake holding her phone, scrolling through old messages, wondering if love could survive absence. Daniel sometimes sat alone in his small apartment, Bible open but eyes unfocused, asking God if he was strong enough to lead a relationship he could not physically protect. In those moments, faith was no longer poetic. It was survival. They made a decision not born of emotion but conviction. God would not be an accessory to their relationship. He would be the foundation. They prayed together weekly, even when exhaustion tempted them to stop. They read scripture aloud, reminding each other of promises spoken long before planes and passports existed. They fasted on the same days, believing unity was not physical proximity, but spiritual alignment. When misunderstandings arose, they chose prayer before reaction, humility before pride, obedience before comfort. Still, the distance pressed hard. Silence sometimes lasted longer than planned. Misinterpretations crept in. Joy felt delayed. And one night when doubt grew heavier than hope, Alma knelt beside her bed and whispered a prayer without eloquence. She asked God to remove the relationship if it was not his will, but to strengthen it if it was. In London, at the same hour though unaware, Daniel prayed for the same clarity. What followed was not immediate answers, but peace, steady, quiet, unmistakable. Time passed and love matured. What once relied on presence learned to rely on purpose. What once leaned on emotion learned to stand on faith. When Daniel finally returned, not as a visitor but as a man prepared to build, they stood in church again, hands clasped, hearts anchored. They were no longer the couple distance had separated. They were the couple faith had refined. Their story became a reminder whispered to others walking similar paths, that oceans do not intimidate God, and time zones do not confuse him. That love grounded in faith does not break under distance, it grows roots. And when God is the bridge, no continent is too far, no waiting too long, and no love too fragile to endure. If this story spoke to your heart, you are not alone. There are many walking journeys of love, waiting, and faith just like this one. Subscribe to this channel for more Christian African love stories that remind us God is still present in our relationships, even across distance. And if you know someone waiting, loving, or trusting God from afar, share this story with them.